Let's talk!
I'm the librarian, and I came to read.
So if you guys remember, I was recently talking about how Rihanna discovered that a lot of these Trump rallies were out here using her music. I think they were playing Please Don't Stop the Music in Tallahassee or some shit. And Rihanna saw that a news reporter was reporting that shit. And she was like, okay, girl, I don't know what y'all expected for this shit to be, but it's not about to happen out of my watch. Rihanna took her ass to BMI and she said, hey sis, I need for y'all, I don't know what y'all have to do, but pause all this bullshit, put a stop to this shit. I don't know if you have to send a cease and desist to everybody, but do what you have to do. So they just released this statement and said, hey sis, Rihanna came to us and she was just like, girl, I don't need to be involved in this political entities agreement, whatever the fuck it was. And they said, you know what, if y'all continue to use this music in these political rallies, it's not authorized by BMI. So keep playing if you want to, keep playing if you want to. Rihanna came through and took care of that shit so goddamn quick. Y'all, bitch, she claps back just as hard as she claps back on Instagram just as hard as she claps back in real life with all types of official documents and legal papers. So keep playing with Rihanna if y'all ass want to. All right, so we're moving the fuck along. Now, Hillary Clinton has decided to take her ass and run again. Let me tell you something. I've always spoken about this. I've always spoken about how, yeah, the Democratic Party is cute or whatever. They try to be as progressive, sounding or seeming as they possibly can. But when it comes to some of the leadership in the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton included, Bernie Sanders included, Nancy Pelosi included. You see what I'm saying? We need real change. I don't want to be holding hands with nobody ass across the aisle who's trying to lock up kids and put our nigger asses in the grave. I'm telling you that shit right now. We need new leadership in the Democratic Party. Ain't nobody trying to ride y'all old decrepit ass ways that don't make no sense, that do not connect with millennials or generation fucking Z. These girls are not trying to hear what y'all have to say. Y'all old asses are talking about policy that will not affect y'all ass because you will be in the grave. Y'all will be in the grave. We need new people. Girl, I hope that Beto ass runs. I don't know, girl. I know that's a lot to ask from a lot of people to be running for this presidency, especially up against Russia and this president. But I am so sick and tired of the same old way. You know what? You do know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same shit the same way and expecting a different result. Get these old hoes. Get these old hoes out of here. Damn, we ain't gonna never get shit done with these old ass hoes. So I talked about this on my live stream, so if you want to hear more in-depth thought about it, you can go to my live stream and check it out. I'm sure it's a little bit longer. But like Michelle Williams, man, honey, I saw during the interactions, the little bit that I did see, I saw some red ass flags, but this shit was waving high, loud. It was as if they took the red flag and asked Daenerys if they could plant that shit at the top of the pyramid of Marine. It was so loud, it was so high, it was so visible. Michelle Williams, talked about how they communicate with each other, and she was just like, hey, you're not black, so maybe that's why, we have some sort of disconnect sometimes. You haven't been raised around black people, and that's just how we communicate. It's different. And he just got immediately offended. He was just, oh my God, and then he came for her fucking mental health issue. He was just like, hey, did you take your meds yet? And I was just like, on what planet is that okay, bitch? Like, God damn it. This is somebody who you're supposed to marry, your partner, like, girl, y'all supposed to, life partner, y'all supposed to handle shit together. Bitch, you threw her ass under the bus. And it really, this is what I say about that colorblind bullshit. I tell y'all all the time, saying I don't see color, all that bullshit, it doesn't make any sense because differences exist. Stop acting like they don't. And when someone brings up that shit and y'all in a whole relationship, someone brings up y'all differences, that's not an attack on your ego. You pastor, like the rest of y'all pastors, so fucking ego-driven, cocky, destructive, and abusive. Some of these men think it's all about their asses, and when someone makes a suggestion or points out the obvious, it's a big ass deal. I don't understand it. Y'all are in an interracial relationship. Y'all gonna have to talk about race, period. It's gonna be really sucky if somebody is ignorant about race and y'all are over here trying to be romantic. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I just don't see how it is an attack on somebody. It's, you know, trying to hurt somebody if you bring up the differences in how you were raised, differences in your race, and what that means in this relationship that is supposed to be happening, which I hope it doesn't. I saw recently that they had called the engagement off, and he talked about she just came from the hospital, so I want to make sure I can love her like she truly deserves. And I'm not seeing a lot of, you know, internal reflection. I'm seeing a lot of, well, girl, did you take your meds? She just came from the hospital. We try to make sure some shit works. I'm A-okay with y'all calling that shit off. But I promise you, I think Michelle deserves better. She doesn't deserve your trash ass. She doesn't. She doesn't. She needs something that will uplift her and not blame her for, you know, the problems that y'all are experiencing or what she's struggling with. I want her to do better, and if doing better means her leaving your dusty ass, then I hope that it happens. No matter how painful it will be for her in this moment, in the next weeks or whatever, I hope that she goes through it, because there's nothing that's more painful than staying in a fucking marriage that you don't belong in, sis. I hope you get it together, Michelle Williams. I hope that you have a support group around you, because some of these men are trash, honey. It don't matter if they pastors or not, they trash. So if you have not been hibernating, you have seen that California has been struggling. I mean, it's always struggling out there, girl. Y'all got earthquakes and fires. I feel so sorry for y'all, girl. I really do. California has been, I think it's the most destructive fire that has ever been in California. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've been reading, I've read that it was the most destructive California fire in history. The shit was, it looked like Armageddon. It looked like American Horror Story Apocalypse, like when Michael set them bombs off. It really did. People left they left their cars, houses were destroyed, rich people's houses were destroyed, and I was just like, all right, girl, y'all got 10 more. I don't really give a fuck about y'all. But I'm talking about like the people who ain't got no money, like they have nowhere to go. Whole towns were destroyed. This shit was crazy. So instead of taking his ass onto Twitter to say something that makes sense, he did the exact opposite. He took his ass onto Twitter to say something that had no basis in reality. So he went up there and said, you know what, girls? There's no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly forest fires in California except that forest management is so poor. Billions of dollars are given each year with so many lives lost, all because of gross mismanagement of the forest. Remedy now or no more Fed payments. It was just interesting to see how disconnected he is from people. He didn't talk about people losing their fucking homes, losing their lives, being burnt the fuck alive. He didn't talk about none of that shit. He didn't talk about, you know, people having no place to go. He didn't share no place where people can get some shelter. He didn't do none of that shit. He talked about the billions of dollars, how costly it is, and just the management is poor. But what's interesting is that the California Professional Firefighters President, Brian Rice, he made this statement. I'll put it up here. He was just like, he said a lot of shit. He said essentially what I just, said about the president's tweets and critiquing him. But he also said that while you're over here trying to drag for forest management, nearly 60% of California forests are under federal management. It's just like you're dragging and reading, you're trying to be this analyst, poorly informed analyst, and you don't even know, you're talking about the management of these forests, and more than half of the forests are managed by the fucking federal government. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I wish he would just shut the fuck up. A lot of people who are stupid and they lack a sense of, trying to learn some shit, they're the loudest ones. All you have to do is shut the fuck up, okay? Let's talk about these elections, because goddamn, the Florida Secretary of State orders recounts in U.S. Senate and governor races. So girl, I hope that Ron DeSantis has buckled his ass up. I don't know if any voter suppression will be able to save your ass now. I hope they go through every goddamn county. I hope they drive Miss Frizzle's bus to every county from Leon to goddamn Miami-Dade. And I hope they count every one of the holes. I hope they find every ballot your ass done filled out or suppressed, bitch. I hope they find everything. I hope Andrew ass gets up there and drags, okay? All you racist bitches in Florida, I voted, my absentee ballot was fucking counted. I hope Andrew wins. Also, Chatham County, Georgia, apparently reported absolutely no mail-in ballots. There are also other counties in Georgia who reported no absentee ballots. So it's just like, what are you hoes doing? What are y'all doing? It's okay. Stacey Abrams is getting down to the bottom of this shit, okay? So keep playing in our faces. We're going to sue the shit out of you. I'm glad she's suing these counties. I'm glad she's, trying to get volunteers to sift through these ballots. I'm happy. I hope that Stacey and Andrew win. I hope that they do. I think it's too late for better. I hope that these two win. So a bunch of doctors have been dragging after the NRA told them, they said, bitch, stay in your lane. They said someone should tell self-important anti-gun doctors to stay in their lane. Half of the articles in the Annals of Internal Medicine are pushing for gun control. More upsetting, however, the medical community seems to have consulted no one but themselves. Now, what's interesting about that is the NRA has actively lobbied the government to try and hold institutions like the CDC, all these holes from investigating, doing research into gun control like they do research into every single issue that affects the human fucking population. Like, they have been in the government actively lobbying so that they can keep researchers out of that arena, out of providing data about what guns do to people in this fucking country. And doctors have been dragging. They're just like, girl, this is my lane. My scrubs and shit have been soaked with people's blood. I've worked for hours on humans with bullets lodged inside their asses, and I've lost so many people. So how you gonna tell me this is not my lane? I'm tired of seeing my patients with fucking bullet holes. And I think this country, I think human nature, I think the state of capitalism, I think everything about it's just fucked up, because there's absolutely, human life means less than fucking profit to these people. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. As long as they're making money, they don't care. How many people get shot the fuck up or die? They don't care. They don't care how many doctors telling them this is an issue. They don't care. As long as they're making money and riding around the world in their yachts, while people in the government themselves, they prevent people from coming to their places of work with guns, but they create policy that is lazy as hell when it comes to bringing guns on school and guns to in certain public spaces. They're hypocrites, but as long as they keep making money, they don't care. Now let me tell you something that I do care about. This will be the last topic. Cindy HydeSmith. Now, I've never heard of a more Cruella de Vil built ass name than that. It gives me all types of generational wealth, previously owning plantation type of teas, and I promise I'm probably not wrong about that shit. She said that if he invited me to a public hanging, I would be on the front row. Now, Senator HydeSmith said this after Colin Hutchinson, who's a cattle rancher, praised her. And she said that shit just in public. People were recording her ass. It's just like it just rolled off her white ass, old ass, decrepit ass, dying ass, life alert needing ass tongue. It was just so easy. Now, Senator HydeSmith, the person who said this shit, is in a runoff on November 27th against Mike Espy, who is black. This is his response.
Those comments that we heard that were published yesterday are very disappointing. They're hurtful and they're harmful. They're hurtful to the millions of Mississippians who are people of goodwill, and they're harmful because they tend to reinforce the stereotypes that have held back our state for so long. I mean, this is 2018. We need leaders that would try to unite us and not divide us.
It's unfortunate that this shit keeps happening, but I'm glad that it's being uncovered, because a lot of people like to, oh my God, when Obama was president, we live in a post-racial society. Okay, girl. All right, but y'all, every day, more and more of y'all just uncover yourselves. You show your truths. And I am happy that we get to see exactly who we got to target. Okay, because some of these people be acting like they, wolves in sheep's clothing, bitch. Just want to buddy up with your ass. No, bitch, be as boldly racist as your ass is around the dinner table with your white ass family. I want to see it so I know which people to avoid, okay? I'm so sick and tired of this shit, but I hope that we end up voting all you hoes out. I think that in that particular race, I think it's for the House. I just hope we get all you hoes out, because then and only then will I have a good goddamn evening.